I'm sure you have seen map art like this and want to know how they're made. In today's video, I am going to take you every step of the way from start to finish so that you can spruce up your Minecraft world just like mine. Let's get right into it. The first step is to figure out what picture you want to convert into map art. You can use any photo you want, but remember that more detailed photos will not turn out as well as less detailed ones, unless you want to make an insanely bigger map art with more maps. Each map lays out 128 by 128 blocks, so if you want to stick to one map for your map art, then it's important to stick to a 1:1 aspect ratio. If not, then your final product will not look as good as you'd like it to. Now that we have our picture, let's move on. Next, go to this website. Make sure to check for this link in the description below. This is a map art schematic generator made by Raybon 2001. It is the best tool that I have found for map arts, and I have been using this site since 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. On the left, you can see all the blocks that you can use and what color they represent in the map art. There are also presets available to use at the top that you can enable or disable depending on whether you want to use all the blocks or just some, like carpets. I made my own preset labeled Super Flat Friendly since I play survival on Super Flat, and it allows me to disable blocks that are unobtainable like ice, prismarine, or glow lichen. The next step is to import your image. Click on this big arrow and upload the picture from your files that you want to use. You can also increase or decrease the size of the map preview by clicking these buttons here. Now that we have the image uploaded, let's take care of the settings. The first one is the mode in which you want to export your map art file. I recommend keeping this as schematic MBT if you pair it with Litematica and you want to build it in your Minecraft world. I will come back to this if you do not plan on using Litematica and cannot use mods in your world. Next is the version setting. This setting allows you to choose any game update through 1.20. So if you are playing in an older setting on a server, then you can change it here so that the only available blocks are those that can be found in the respective versions. The site has not yet been updated to 1.21 yet, but the newer blocks might not be the ones that you want to use in map arts anyways. The third setting controls the map size in-game. So if you are using a picture that does not have a 1:1 aspect ratio, then you will definitely want to mess with this setting to fit your picture in. But to keep it simple, I will just keep it as 1:1 for now. The next settings are crop and grid. Crop is set to center as the default setting, and turning it off will stretch or shrink your picture. If you do not care too much about this function, then you can go ahead and turn it off. But if you have a photo with a 1:1 aspect ratio, then go ahead and keep it on. You can go ahead and choose the manual setting, but it can be tricky to use, so I recommend you either just choose center or turn it off altogether. Grid pulls up the in-game chunk lines to give you a deeper perspective into how the map size will look, but since I'm uploading this as a schematic and using Litematica, I will turn it off for now. Moving on, staircasing lets you choose between placing blocks flat or staircasing them up. The biggest difference is that turning this off makes it much easier to build and place in survival compared to staircasing up and down. But you get 3 times as many colors if you choose to keep this setting on. In my opinion, as a survival player, it is not worth using the staircasing method for an arguably slightly better result, but let me know if I'm wrong. There are 2 options for staircasing, but I would just stick with the value one since it is much easier to build in survival. For this video, I am choosing the flat one since it is much faster to build. For the next setting, you can choose whether or not you want to have blocks placed underneath, since blocks like carpets, gravel, and pressure plates need blocks underneath them to support them. Since I play in a super flat world though, I choose the no blocks option since I will always have grass underneath my map art to build on. But I recommend you choose the important blocks option if you plan on using staircasing or are playing in a normal world, since you will most likely end up building your map art in an ocean biome. This option only adds blocks underneath the blocks that actually need it, like carpets for example. Underneath, you can choose which blocks you want to have as support. I recommend you choose whatever you have the most of. I like to choose cobblestone when I have it turned on, but you can use whatever block you want. Next up, we have better color. I highly recommend you keep this checked on because it will make your map art look much better. And the last main setting we have is dithering. This will put random colors into your map arts to improve their quality. There are several options here, so play around with each one to see what you like. I'm gonna stick with the default setting for now. At the bottom are some additional settings for image pre-processing. Here you can play with the brightness, contrast, and saturation levels. And you can toggle on or off the background if you so choose. Now we are ready to export our map art. If you want to build yours in survival without using any mods like Litematica, then click View Online and zoom in and out to see the exact placement for every block in the map art. To use the map art with Litematica, click the Download MBT button, go to your downloads, and paste it into the schematics folder in your Minecraft folder. Next, load up your world and find a nice flat area. Pretty difficult to do here in Superflat. All jokes aside, all you have to do is load in a map, and then you need to line yourself up with the top left corner of the map. I recommend using F3 plus G to turn on chunk borders to help. All that's left to do is load in the map art schematic using Litematica and adjusting it as needed. There you have it, your very first map art schematic loaded into your world. After making sure that everything is all good, you can use Litematica to gather all the necessary resources, return back to your map art schematic, and begin building it up. And soon enough, you will have yourself a wonderful map art in your world. Now you can go ahead and show all your friends your latest piece of work and watch as they blow it up before your very eyes. Just kidding. If you want to protect your map art from pranksters, then make sure to use a cartography table, drop your map in with a glass pane, and walk away with a locked map. This will protect it from any changes that are made to the blocks placed in your world. I'm filling this small museum with every famous painting in the world, so let me know what you'd like to see added, and maybe I'll even add a hall dedicated to your ideas. There you have it. That's how you make map art in Minecraft. I hope you learned something new.